Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about measuring jump rings. And before we get into the measuring part, I want to get some vocabulary straight. So I'm going to read some definitions, and these will be in the notes as well. So don't worry about writing them down. I'll have them for you in the notes section. So the first thing I want to talk about is diameter. So diameter measures a straight line through the center of a circle ending on the opposite side. So I have this roll of tape. This is going to be my circle for demonstrating. So diameter really is just talking about measuring this distance from edge to edge and doing that with some kind of measuring device. Okay, so you can do it with a tape measure, and this measures at 4 5/8 of an inch on the outside edge. Okay, so if you're measuring the outside edge, that is called the outside diameter, and you're talking about this outer part of the blue tape. You can also measure the inside diameter, which is this part in here, and that measures from edge to edge. So to measure that, I'm just going to lay this down. And I'm trying to put it right at the edge before it falls off. Okay, and it measures just about 3 inches. It's probably just a teeny bit smaller than 3 inches, but for our purposes, 3 inches works. Okay, so you're going to get a different measurement if you measure the inside versus measuring the outside, and that is true with jump rings. And this recently came to light for me when I had some jump rings that I bought from Hobby Lobby, and it said that they were 15 millimeter, and when I measured them, they did not measure 15 millimeters, and I was confused about that. So I have this device for measuring, and it's called, they're called calipers, and I was always told to measure the inside diameter. No, inside diameter gets measured up here. Okay, and so that's what I had always measured, and they didn't measure properly. And the other day, like a lightning bolt struck my brain, and not literally, figuratively, and I measured the outside diameter, and it was pretty darn close. So I was just going to show you that to you guys, because what I learned was not correct, and it can vary. So sometimes people are measuring that outside, they're measuring the outside diameter and putting that on the package, and sometimes they're measuring the inside diameter and listing that. So I'm going to do it here with this jump ring that is supposed to be a 15 millimeter jump ring, and I'm going to measure the outside of it. So I open up my calipers and I slip that in, and sure enough, it's 14.88. So it's not exactly 15, but it's close to 15. So that was kind of surprising to me to realize that not everyone measures the inside diameter. So if you get some jump rings and you're measuring them, maybe you're trying to write instructions for someone else. These are traditional jump ring measuring tools. These are called mandrels, and they measure from 1 millimeter up to 10 millimeters. Now clearly these are going to be too big, and so I could never measure them. I know that they're bigger than 10, and the package said that they were 15. So in order to measure these, I was measuring the inside, okay, and I had to have the calipers to do that. And so I slide that along, and this time, oh, that's not straight. Need to get it straight. There we go. Is 11.5. So the inside is not, I mean, I can see that clearly with my eyeballs. That's not going to be the same on the inside as it is on the outside. The same with the roll of tape. I can tell clearly that the inside is going to be smaller than the outside. So you don't always know. And most of the time it doesn't really matter, because when you're putting a bracelet together, you just need a jump ring to put a clasp on or something like that. But I was doing something that I needed very specific jump rings sizes for, and so I was having trouble because I was measuring them differently than the person who was selling the jump rings. So these are just some other examples of jump rings, and the thickness of the metal will also change your measurement. So when you're measuring an inside diameter with a thicker metal, it's going to measure differently than with a thinner metal. So just something to be aware of, and maybe you can avoid some of the frustrations that I've had. So there you go.